Okay.
Okay, I want to speak first for 1 minute over de verjaardag van Yeshiva's Pensionarium.
Rabbi?
Yeshiva's Pensionarium.
Ja, okay.
Yeshiva's Pensionarium is precies 4 years old. 4 years old. I only have one thing to say. I didn't know Mrs. Jacobs. I never met her. But if something so beautiful came out afterwards, that the yeshiva opened up in the Netherlands in her name. So many. Just make a small calculation. How many shiurim took place in the last 4 years? Bischusa. 1,000?
Maybe, I think so. It's about this week is 150 weeks.
150. Elke week is ongeveer hoeveel?
Now, in the beginning, it was only 2 days. And
Yeah,
now
nu is het every day. So ongeveer per week is hoeveel shiurim?
Let's say on Sunday, most 2, and Monday 3, Tuesday 2,
7,
Wednesday 5,
12.
Thursday 2 or 3.
Oké, ongeveer 14.
Ja.
Dus 2000. 100. Now, 2000 shiurim in the last 4 years, which would not have happened.
No.
Which only started in the name of what name? Shoshana?
Yeah.
Shoshana. I think it's an unbelievable zechus for her that not only the shiurim, the amount of people that learned in the shiurim and people who listened to the shiurim on the record. It's whose idea was it?
Herman Loosteen.
Herman.
Herman came to me.
Okay. So Herman said that for her zechus.
Yes, because we always had in winter, also in the Heek already, on Shabbos afternoon, leren we, this is een group. And it's still now.
Nee?
Now in the, we start all.
Shabbos afternoon.
Every Shabbos afternoon.
Okay,
Herman.
Okay. So he said after your wife was nifter, make a yeshiva.
This is a nice program, and you have to do the work.
Okay.
That was a mistake.
Okay.
Nee, dat is met
Je put on the Zoom before Shabbos.
Not in the winter, I think. Nee, alleen de zomermaanden. De zomermaanden bij mij, altijd bij mij thuis. Dus is iemand welkom.
Ja, maar het is te ver af.
Bij mij thuis.
Wacht, je woont nu tegenwoordig dichterbij, hè? In de Kastelenstraat, daar in de
Kanteel, ja.
Ja.
Een uur voor minder.
Oké, en wie komt?
Nou, Maurits Blog, Jaap Schilo, Hans van Emden.
Jaap Schilo en Maurits Blog is één. Dat komen samen, hè?
There were a lot of people, but it was Harry Brunschwig, it was Yves Frank, all go to Israel. Harry Marcus, Joop Krant. In the beginning were 50 to 20 people.
Okay.
But now it's 5, 6.
Where was your wife born? Netherlands? Scheveningen.
Yes.
Okay. I know the beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Scheveningen. I the beach. Yeah, she does the beach.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Around 30 weeks.
Right. So you went to the Matzeva? You went to now for the Yotze?
No, not yet. No.
Was the first day Shavuos or second day?
First day Shavuos.
First day Shavuos. I remember because Chagai was in my class. I was teaching Chagai.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the trip to Vienna. Remember? So I went, yes, come with, not come with, but he came with to Vienna. That was the day after his parents said he should go. He shouldn't miss the school trip.
Mm-hmm.
So he went. But that was the day after Shavuos. We went. So during the Shiva, he was gone for 2 days. You remember?
Yeah, no, I remember. I said, you have to go.
So he wasn't sure. His parents, I think, said he should go. So it's very hard what to do, you know. But anyway, and the Shema should have an aliyah, and the learning that everyone will do, is, I'm sure, doing her very good. Okay. First, everyone have a good Yom Tov. That's my question first. Besides what's going on, in Eretz Yisrael. Feliyara is by Shavuos, is by Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, that's a good.
Shavuos also?
Yes.
No, you
Why?
can say always.
Feliyara is elke dag, maar niks met Shavuos te doen.
No. Pesach is een goede zomer.
Goeie zomer en Shavuos?
Shavuos no.
Nee, Shavuos een goede winter.
Goede winter.
Goeie winter en Shavuos een goede Matan Torah.
Het is de tweede keer dat we niet jagen.
Waarom?
The second time, it's because of the Matan Torah.
Matan Torah, waarom is Matan Torah een nieuwjaar?
Het begint ook een nieuwe tijdperk.
Het is een nieuwe tijd. Maar ik vind een goede Matan Torah. Oké. Wanneer was dit?
Het is met cijferonthulling.
3 jaar geleden?
Ja.
Oké, daughter, son, who's the andere?
Two sons.
The other son.
One for England, one for
And he lives in England, the one right?
Which one? He lives in England, yes.
Komt hij nooit?
Is dat eruit?
Oké.
Nobody.
Okay. So who's the oldest?
Shuli is the oldest.
She's the oldest?
And then from England, then from Israel.
Okay. The one from Israel, he used to live in Cantel.
Yeah. He lives in Cantel.
Yeah. Okay. You have 2 grandsons in Israel? In the army? No. Herzliya, okay, not in the army. They were in the army?
One is 19, the other is 21.
They can still go to the army.
I hope not.
You hope not. Okay. Okay. I have a nice Halacha to share with you today. I don't know. I was actually thinking on Shavuos is the time when we had Matan Torah. So Matan Torah, we accepted a very interesting question. How many mitzvahs did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us by Matan Torah? Hoeveel mitzvahs geeft ons HaKadosh Baruch Hu by Matan Torah, by Kabbalah Torah?
613, of course. No. This is a strikvraag. No, it's 611.
611. Wat zeg jij?
Because analogie and
Analogie and Hashem Mipia Gvura wasn't from okay, but 611? Wat zegt what's your suffix? Why not 613?
It's only 10.
Oh, that says numbers?
10, which is
The gebod. After that, the other 603 is.
That comes by or. And it's written later. He comes down with the Aseret HaDivot and the rest comes later.
It doesn't come later. It's written down maybe later, but it's not. It was all given by Moshe Sinai.
Okay, so the people didn't know. At that moment when he came down, people didn't know.
So when did they know the rest of the mitzvahs?
It was written down.
Well,
People could not fulfill.
There
It's
were
very-
no mitzvahs. There were no mitzvahs before. No. That's one of
Before
the
Kabbalah
reasons,
Torah.
one of the reasons we eat also milk.
Oh, one of the mitzvah, one of the
There
minhagim.
was no mitzvahs.
One of the minhagim why we have milchig on the Shavuos. Why?
Why? Because
Because
spijswetten.
Because we liked it very much. We liked it.
because Kas was because every Shabbos is a milchig. What's the reason why the Mishnah Berurah brings down one of the reasons why the minhag is to have milchigs on the Shavuos is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah, the chiyuv shchita and chiyuv and halachas of kosher and treif. So everything was treif.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do shchita, and Torah was given on Shabbos. Yeah, Torah was given on Shabbos. More says Torah. Everyone agrees Torah was given on Shabbos. So the only thing that they could eat without having to kasher was the milk. Take milk from a cow. It doesn't need to be. They can do that maybe on, or they had it in the fridge maybe. Well, no fridge, but they had some. But to have kosher meat, they have to shecht the animal. They just got told. So we see that they were told on Shabbos, not only Aseres Dibros. So we see that even on Shabbos, they were told, by Har Sinai, they were told halachos of kashrus. Not only Aseres Dibros. So before Matan Torah, did Klal Yisrael have any mitzvahs?
7.
Oh.
Ja, Noachidische.
Oh, 7 mitzvahs. Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach. What betekent Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach? The 7 mitzvahs that before Klal Yisrael came to Har Sinai, they had the b'nei Noach. Ever minachai, not to eat from an animal. Like
Not to kill somebody,
yeah.
etc.
Avodah Zarah, not to give a klola to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Znus, something Samalach is Znus. 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. So those 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach are inclusive in 613. We have 613 mitzvahs. A goy has fulfill mitzvahs? Zeva. They don't know about it. We know. A goy has 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. What does that mean? It means if they don't know about it, then it means nothing. But goy has 7 mitzvahs.
I don't think so.
So Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach. They have what?
Je mag ook bepaalde dingen.
Ja, maar we hebben geen 7. Ja, binnen bijvoorbeeld.
Ja, dat is een.
Okay, so a goy has 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. So Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach betekent the 7 mitzvahs that a goy needs to do. So now, those 7 mitzvahs, let's take by forbeeld 1. Even menachai. Even menachai betekent, if you have an animal going, you can't take off break off an Eva and eat it. Even menachai. That's one of the Sheva mitzvahs.
Yeah.
That's also a mitzvah for us.
Yeah. Yes, and murdering and.
It's also one of our mitzvahs. Okay?
Yeah.
So now I have a question. Klal Yisrael came to Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, we had already 7 mitzvahs.
Yes.
Come with Matan Torah. My vraag is like this. Did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give another 606 mitzvahs? Of
13 minus.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu made delete. 0. We start fresh. 613 met de 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach nog een keer.
Yes, I think.
You hear my question? Simple vraag. What happened before Matan Torah? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Klal Yisrael had 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach because they were the 7 mitzvahs HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave by Noach. So even before Matan Torah, even Menachai was also. In Parshas Noach, I think Parshas Noach, it says, Ach es bosa b'nama, I can't remember the Lashon HaPosuk, but even before Matan Torah, there was an Issa of even Menachai. We have today also Issa of even Menachai. The Issa that we have today from even Menachai, is that the old Issa from Noach? Or is that the Issa from Kabbalah Torah? You can ask, what's the nafkamina? We can find you many nafkaminas, but I'm asking you first, theoretically. How many mitzvahs does HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us by Har Sinai? 606? Because we already had 7.
7.
Shem mitzvah we had. So 606 plus 7. 607, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Altogether, 613. So 7 we had before Matan Torah. Noch 606 by Kabbalah Torah. Of? Nee. Come to Kabbalah Torah. What happened? Forget about it. Okay, that was taught new. Nu begint a new story. 613 mitzvahs for Klal Yisrael and 7 for the Goy. You said Nasa B'Nishma yesterday. What do you say Nasa B'Nishma? Only to Aseres Dibros. What have you geaccepteerd? But you already accepted
We hadden al 7.
Behalve de 7 of inclusive de 7? When you come to Matan Torah, you already have 7 mitzvahs. So, Kosh Baruch Hu give another 606. No, Kosh Baruch Hu starts fresh. What happened till Kabbalah Torah is history. Continue. Who's on line here? Mr. Mamchach, what do you say? You're on pause. You're on mute.
Read my lips. Good morning, Hashanim Rabot. First, you know me quite well. I don't agree that there were only 7 mitzvahs for the Goyim. That's absolutely not true. The moment they would have accepted the Bible, in principle, they would have accepted all the mitzvahs which are there for the Jewish people, deducted by those who they can't do. So there must have been much more mitzvahs for the Goyim than the only 7. Second, I don't think that all the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach are in the Torah. So when you ask how many mitzvahs will be given, I would keep it quite simple. I would say 10, the 10 commandments, which are not 10 mitzvahs, but it's 10 commandments. And when you start deducting from the 613, you should deduct 7, the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, and the 10 commandments of the 10 commandments, and then you arrive somewhere in the end of 500.
Well, number one, first of all, the Ummah Ha'olam did not accept the Torah.
Well, how do you explain then that there have been created religions who are based on the Bible, on the Old Testament and the New Testament? The Old Testament is a part of the religion of the non-Jews.
Who said Na'aseh v'nishma?
The Jews.
That's it. I'm Israel, that's it. So that means Klal Yisrael accept the Torah, no one else.
Yes, no. At that moment, there was nobody else. Hello? There was nobody else.
There was Ummah Ha'olam. There wasn't only Jews around. What happened to all the other nations? Of course they were. Why were there only Jews around?
Were they also at Sinai?
What happened to all the Egyptians and all the other people, the nations? Of course they were around. What happened to all the Shmuels, Einiklach? They were around.
At Sinai? I don't believe so.
They weren't at Sinai, but the Medrash tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu offered the Torah, and they said, "Ma kesuf bo," what's written inside? You can't do this, and you can't do that. They said, no. The only Ummah that said we will accept the Torah was Klal Yisrael. So they said, Na'aseh v'nishma. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give it to the Ummah.
Depending on how you see it. When you say that the Torah was already written before it was given, then you have the complete answer.
Why? What do you mean?
Because when the Torah was written before it was given, which is normal for a book, then the contents of the Torah was already known to Kodesh Baruch Hu before he gave it to the Jewish people. So he knew that the only people he could give it to was the Jewish people.
Why? He had a Torah. Whoever wants to accept it can accept it.
No, the Torah was written. Black on white, in principle.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew when he created, we discussed this last week. We discussed Vav Sivan. Remember we said last week? HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that he had the Torah to give. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's going to happen tomorrow. He knows what you're going to do in 2 hours' time. That's not, but still, HaKadosh Baruch Hu offered it. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's going to happen, doesn't mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give you the choice.
Look, when you would say that Yaakov Avinu was studying 14 years in the yeshiva of Shem and Ever, I want to know what he was studying.
Okay, and when the Ovis kept some of the mitzvahs.
For instance, Pesach.
What?
For instance, Pesach, already by Abraham.
Exactly. So some mitzvahs are. So some things were given before Matan Torah.
I think all the mitzvahs were given before Matan. All the mitzvahs were written down in Torah. So the only point was which people would get the Torah. But when you write the Torah before it was given as the story of the Bnei Yisrael, there can only be one people. It has nothing to do with the question, how much is it? Because the answer was it's 3, and then they said, give us 2. No, that's not the answer. The answer is when the Torah was written before it was given, and it was, the complete story of the Bnei Yisrael was in the Torah.
But it wasn't given until it came to Har Sinai.
That doesn't matter.
So-
The
so-
Torah was ready.
What
The Tor-
happened? You just now celebrated 2 days of Shavuos. What did you celebrate? Besides cheesecake?
No, we celebrate that we said Naaseh v'nishma
Oh, so what did you say now? Seven Nishma too?
to the contents of the Torah because it was written on the people of the Bnei Israel.
So
Nobody
Klal
else.
Yisrael- So what did
There was
HaKadosh
no
Baruch Hu-
Torah written on the Egyptians, nor on the Babylonians, nor on the Syrians. Never.
So what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu offer on Shavuos that you said Na'aseh v'nishma too?
The Torah.
What was written inside?
So the first book of the Torah, the first copy.
There's only one copy. I mean, we had
The original, okay. I don't care. It is only the Torah with the complete contents of the history of the Jewish people. There's no discussion about it. Where you would start to discuss that, then you have a big problem because then a lot of theories will not be valid anymore.
So I'm asking a number of mitzvahs. How many mitzvahs were written in the offer? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu offers, if a contractor, what's it called? A namer comes to you and gives you an offer, right? You want to know what's in there. What's he offering you? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you an offer. You want to know what's inside. Nachon? Klal Yisrael said,
The Bnei Israel didn't want to know, but they said, Naaseh v'nishma.
My question was, what was inside?
The story of the Bnei Israel in the Torah, as
He's
it was
not offering
given.
you a fiction book.
Look, Moshe had to write down what was given, what happened, and what was given in the Torah.
But
The
HaKadosh
contents
Baruch
didn't
Hu wasn't
differ.
offering you a story, a book for the library, to have a nice book to read when you go to bed. He's offering you Torah with mitzvahs. Nachon, the history book, you can go onto Google and download a nice book. It wasn't offering you a story book. It was offering you a Torah to keep, a life to live by. The story
Yes,
that
it's a way of
happened
life.
wasn't what he was
The
offering.
contents of Torah is a way of life, but it was ready and given to the Jewish people, could only have been the Jewish people. Otherwise, there would have been another content in the Torah.
Did HaKadosh Baruch Hu offer the Torah to the other nations?
Yes, and they asked what is in it, and they said, you may not murder, you may not steal, you may not lie, etc. And then they said, well, we can't accept it. And the Jewish people didn't ask, they only asked what was the joke, what was the price? Yes, and of course, Baruch said it's free, and then they said, give us 2, please. Yes, now, okay, that's the joke.
Okay,
But
so let's go.
the contents of the Jewish Torah, and now I'm going too far, but I know the content of the Jewish Torah was ready before it was given. With the complete story of the Bnei Israel in it.
True, but Klal Yisrael didn't know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had written down.
No, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew what he was
HaKadosh
given.
Baruch Hu knew, okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew, correct. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu offered the Torah by Har Sinai. How many mitzvahs were in there?
Yes. Well, okay. You say probably only one. Anochi Hashem Elokecha.
Ja, Sivan, ik zeg min 2, en jij zegt min 1.
Look, the truth is, none of us. I mean, our neshamas were officially there by Kabbalah Satira. So one thing we have clearly is the Mishnah in Avos tells us that we have a clear, as you say, Mesaro, going back from Kabbalah Satira. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a Torah to Sinai, to Moshe, Yeshua, Yeshua Zakanim, Nevi'im, Surah Anshegas Zagdola, right? So we have a clear line going back to her. Do you know how many generations ago was Har Sinai? Not so long ago. Imagine every person lives for 100 years, yeah? Plus, minimum. So 30 people living for 100 years. 33 people. That's all. That's how far away Kabbalah story was. It's not so long. Imagine someone lives 100 years. So if someone lives 100 years and his child 100 years, 33 people.
We leven geen 100 jaar.
That's it.
Zeker niet in de generatie voor die tijd.
I'm saying, but if you had a person, you've seen people who live 100. You've seen a person 100 years old? Yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying, in our mind, how far away was Kabbalah Satira? Not so long ago. Take 30 mensen. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30. 30 people. Each one lived for 100 years. 100 years? 100 years? 100 years? Kabbalah Torah is not so far away.
60.
What?
60.
Is what it used to be.
60 generaties.
I'm saying, but if we take a person of 100 years, we can see a person of 100 years. You've seen a man 100 years old?
Yes, and in former times they were even older.
Well, maybe even older they used to be. They live long times. I say they live longer. But I'm just saying, for our mind to realize that Har Sinai is not so long ago. If you take a person who lives 100 years, another person lived 100 years, 30 people of 100 years old. That's how far away. No, it's not like it never happened. It's not like it's that far away. I know 3,000 years is 3,000 years, but I'm saying if you want to take the people who want to say the world's 5 billion years old, 3,000 years ago is mixed. Nachon? Where Kabbalah Sinai took place. Anyway, so at this point, I'm going to leave open. It wasn't what I wanted to talk about today, but it's interesting to know by Har Sinai what exactly happened. How much did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us? How much was before? How much came later? It's a very interesting discussion. Maybe we could go into that more another time. But the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach is important to know because we definitely had Sheva Mitzvahs before Kabbalah Torah.
How about the Ever Menachai?
Ever Menachai also. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Noach.
If it's still today, don't keep yourself.
Correct. So my question is, we have to understand, by Kabbalah Torah, before Kabbalah Torah, there was the Issa of Ever Menachai. After Kabbalah Torah is also Ever Menachai. Is that the same Issa HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Noach? And he didn't repeat it by Kabbalah Torah, or he gave it new by Kabbalah Torah?
Our interpretation today is different for the Ever Menachai.
Why?
Because we have kosher meat today.
No, but Ever Menachai has nothing to do with kosher meat. Ever Menachai is even a kosher. We can't eat from a live animal, even a kosher animal.
I understand, but still today, the people don't. The people eat from what they think is dead.
I know. So we have a lav. If you see an animal watering, to take a piece of a cow and eat it is an issa deraisa. It's Ever Menachai.
That means all the other meat is kosher.
No.
It's shot by a bullet.
No. Two things. Even a kosher animal, you're not allowed to take from it when it's alive. A non-kosher animal, maybe it has two isurim. That's not kosher and it's Ever Menachai. I don't know. Maybe it has two problems. But Ever Menachai is even by a kosher animal. If you break off a leg from an animal and eat it, it's Ever Menachai.
I understand. But what does it really mean, the Ever Menachai?
A limb from a live animal.
I understand. But why do we have today a different type of kosher meat?
Then what?
If
it's shot by a bullet,
Then there's no shchita. Then it's not menachai. It's not even menachai. The animal is dead. But it's not kosher shchita. It's treifa.
well,
No, there's treif.
okay, that is made as a rabon.
Or shchita.
Yeah.
That's it's no. Where's shchita? No, shchita is not. Shchita is it's like by the korbanos. Shchita is material. Vayishchat shchita material. All the korbanos was shchita. It's not the rabon. Yeah, shchita is not the rabon.
De uitvoering,
Yeah.
de uitvoering is de rabbonen trouwens.
How to do it, but the principle of having shchita is not. Yeah, non-kosher meat could be if it's not done. If it's done completely wrong, then it could be it's the rest to it. Not the rabon. There's treifa. Treifa is a kosher animal which didn't have a proper shechita. There's a nevela. A nevela is if a kosher animal dies.
De longen zijn niet goed.
Yeah. Or if it had a kosher shechita and the lungs are not good.
Dat is een treifa.
That's a
Alles is
treifa.
kosher gestart.
So you can have a kosher animal with a kosher shechita, but you're not allowed to eat the animal. Why? Because the lungs are kaput. In fact, not good. So it's a trophy, you can't eat it. What happens if you have a kosher animal, a cow, which just dies?
It's still within the Noachidic law.
Yeah.
They don't describe exactly what is kosher meat.
By Noach, there's no mitzvah. There was no chiyuv shechita yet.
We
Don't
talk
know if there
about
was.
7 mitzvahs.
Ah, so 7 mitzvah in Noach. Oh, so I don't think that the Eva min hachai is a separate issue. That means even if the animal is a kosher animal, I am not allowed to break off a live piece of the animal and eat it.
That's it.
Yeah. It's an Eva piece, min hachai, from a live animal. That's the Isser. Now my question was, well, that Isser that we have today is the old Isser from before Matan Torah, or is that a new Isser which came fresh by Matan Torah? Because from the 613 mitzvahs, 7 we already had before.
I think ik geloof niet dat je ze apart moet tellen. Dus opnieuw voor ons, we geven de 613 minus Annelie en de andere geloof ik. Dus het zijn 611. Dus ze tellen gewoon mee.
Ja. 611 min 7.
Wat?
611
Juist.
min nog 7.
Nee.
Wat is met de 7 min
Die 7 die worden opnieuw.
Nieuw.
Voor ons heb je een aparte dimensie. Dat zijn Noachitische wetten. En omdat ze dus in de Matan Torah staan, hebben ze voor ons extra kracht.
Voor Klal Yisrael. En voor de Goyim was...
En voor Goyim, does it make difference?
There's an interessante discussie, because the vraag is, before Matan Torah, was there a oynish? Hoe zegt u oynish? Oynish. Hoe zegt u oynish? Punishment.
Straf.
Ja.
Een straf.
Straf.
Was er een straf voor 7 mitzvahs minach? Kan zijn dat wanneer het bij Kabbalah Torah, who says, if you don't keep 7 mitzvahs minach, komt de straf. Because the halacha from Malchus, of Chorus, of other sort of onshim for different lavim in the Torah, kan zijn dat before Matan Torah was alleen bijvoorbeeld even met een gaai, je mag niet. Maar was er straf if you do?
I don't know.
Kan zijn, I think that according to one opinion, that by Kabbalah Torah, zegt HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that there's a oynish, a straf, if you don't keep that the straf komt bij Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah is geen oynish. Nu komt met de lavim, met de mitzvah, met de oynish, met de different verschillende soorten straffen. Because like we see, some onshim have chorus, some have a lav, it's alleen Malchus, some is Shabbos is different levels. Dat kan zijn.
Wat is straf?
What is straf? You have to go, you know, were you ever in school?
Strafwerk.
Straf is something.
Zo'n straf hebben we dus niet in de...
No, we don't have there. A lot of straf we don't have today. No straf we have today, really. There's no best din. Yeah. Now you're thinking HaKadosh Baruch Hu was standing there with a big stick, like the leraar in school.
Yeah.
That's in the Gimshot. That is not. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. If you want to begrijpen straf,
Wat bestaat bij onder straf?
I can tell you what the Ramchal zegt. Heb je van Ramchal gehoord? Ramchal was.
Al deze dingen die de laatste jaren zijn gebeurd, is straf. Nou, we zeggen de Tweede Wereldoorlog, Merom.
Ja, voor de ene wel en voor de ander niet.
Nou, het is voor ons Joden toch. We zijn niet volmaakt en we hebben
Nee,
toch
maar-
dingen gedaan.
We hebben
En
het
dan
over
wordt
Joden. We hebben goede Joden en
gediscussieerd.
minder goede Joden.
Ja. Maar ja,
En die zijn
de
allemaal-
goede
Iedereen is
onder
goeie.
de slechte.
Maar meer goed of minder goed?
Die zijn allemaal in Auschwitz geweest.
Ja,
En er is geen verschil gemaakt.
nee, dat klopt. Maar dat is vaak dat de
Ja,
goede
maar
onder
wat is
de
straf?
slechte moeten lijden. Ja.
Dat is straf.
Ja.
Dus er worden
Straf is.
de goede worden net zo bestraft als
Ja.
Jazeker.
Ja. Omdat
Maar
we
wie
één
is goed en
volk
wie is niet
zijn.
goed? Ik bedoel,
We zijn één volk.
we maken allemaal fouten. En, nou ja.
Het is natuurlijk wel moeilijk om dit te zeggen.
Look, it's very, very hard to
Very
understand.
hard,
Het is
but,
heel moeilijk om
het
te
is
begrijpen.
Eh,
Maar Kosh Baruch zegt in de Torah, dat als je luistert, gaat alles goed. Als je luistert niet, hebben we 2 parshas van tegengekomen. Now, we have to live to our best and try to understand. We can't always say that this in Gaza happened because of this. Or this in Miron
nee,
is
dat
because of
kunnen
that.
we
That can we
niet,
niet.
Peter.
That we don't know. And in Auschwitz was because of that. No one can say that. We hebben geen Nevi'us en geen Ruach HaKodesh en niks.
Er is een jongetje gedood nu van 5 jaar.
Waar?
In Israël.
Van de...
Ja, van de dingen.
Ja.
Rabbi, may I give you 2 examples?
Heb je geen antwoord op?
We hebben
give-
geen antwoord. Nog een antwoord. We hebben geen Nevi'us. Ja.
May I give you 2 examples of what
Ja.
is definitely in Torah? The
Ja.
first thing is the story of the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf.
Ja.
It was in the Torah before the Torah was accepted. The second example is the story of the Meraglim. It was in the Torah before it was accepted. How do you explain that?
Everything from Parshas Yisro till the end. It's not a question on 2
No,
things.
it was in
From
the
Parshas
Torah
Yisro to
before
V'zes
it was
HaBrocha.
given.
So from Parshas Yisro till V'zes HaBrocha. The whole thing. When was that written?
There was no Torah given on Har Sinai. So which part of Torah was given on Har Sinai?
Oh, so some explain that on Har Sinai we got until what happened by Har Sinai. What happened later from Parshas Yisro, the last 40 years until Moshe Rabbeinu was Nifta and Klal Yisrael and Yeshua ben Nun took over, the last 2 psukim from Parshas V'zes HaBrocha
Yes.
was written obviously from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Moshe, but as it went along the next 40 years.
So Moshe wrote 2 parts of the Torah, the first part until and including Sinai.
Everything's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu via Moshe. The question was whether it was all at once, tot Kabbalah Satira, and till the end, or no. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave by Sinai tot Yisroi, and then from Yisroi tot V'zes HaBrocha, the last 40 years, till Moshe Rabbeinu was Nifta, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote over what was the rest of the parashas, but obviously mipi Agvura, mipi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it wasn't given at Har Sinai.
I hear that for the first time.
Yeah. But maybe even I can't remember. I could find you the who discusses this maybe in more detail. But what were we saying before? About straf. Oh, so a kleine jongetje, 5 years old. We know who's going to explain to you the Auschwitz why it happened.
Je
We
kan de
explain to you
vraag niet
the
stellen, maar ik heb toch geen antwoord.
the begin antwoord, right?
Ja, want daarom zeg ik,
No one has an answer. This is for that and that's for that.
geen emunah.
So either you live with Emunah, if you live with Emunah, it makes life a little bit easier. Without Emunah, then you have one big question for your whole life, and then that's it.
In de jongetje, in de Gemorre komt ervoor, het jongetje moet in de boom klimmen voor zijn vader.
My father and he's nifter,
En
and he falls down.
En hij valt down.
And by 2 mitzvahs, zegt Barach Yomim.
Ja.
2 mitzvahs in Torah zegt, if you do the mitzvah, krijg je lange leven. Ene van Kibbut Avim, en ene from Shiloh HaKan.
Ja. En wat
And the
gebeurt er?
Gemara said the story, the father zegt to the zoon, do the mitzvah van Shiloh HaKan, the bird, the vogel, en de kleine jongetje gaat op de boom, en hij valt. Dood. Borg dein Hermes. En 2
zegt de
mitzvahs van
Gemara
Barach Yomim.
Wat zegt de
We
Gemorre?
kunnen morgen niet boilen maar zee, maar boilen maar bo.
Ja.
Maar begrijp je dit? I don't know. 45 mensen overleden in Miron. Waarom deze 45? What did they do wrong? Alle goede mensen? No one's going to say to you this one
En
because
die
this,
vraag krijg je
that
nooit
because
een
that.
antwoord.
We hebben geen antwoord. We hebben geen antwoord.
Ontelbare vragen zijn er over.
Maar just to say that is leven is also geen antwoord.
Oké, maar
Dus maar, we live in a world in Choshech, it's dark. I mean, even now in the winter it's dark, right? There's a shemesh, right? I went in the car just now. It looks like it's middle, like December, January. It's like
you're asked how many mitzvahs we got on the
Bar Sinai.
I have given an answer, but I answered, but
What is your answer?
What's my answer? I have no answer myself. I wasn't there. I can only say what
is the answer?
what is the answer?
je bent er, je was er geweest op Huisinaar, we waren allemaal op Huisinaar. Maar we beter moeten luisteren.
Oh, so 3,000 years ago. So that's my great grandfather 30 times over and ask him what happened over there. So look, there's verschillende opinions about, like always, in what happened. I think according to most opinions, I have to check up again, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu geeft ons opnieuw de Sheva Mitzvahs Bnei Noach mitzad Klal Yisrael. That means before we came to Matan Torah, was geen Klal Yisrael.
I was right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What?
Oh, yes. What did they eat in Egypt?
Non-kosher. They
We
had,
mochten nog alles eten.
yeah, dat was geen mitzvah om kosher te eten.
No,
Only
but what
when
did
it
they
came
eat? Did they eat non-kosher?
There wasn't kosher.
Probably before there was, because there was no kosher food. But
There was
did they
geen- there was geen
eat?
wel-
They were not there
Er
for
was geen
them to.
kosher daar. Alles was kosher. Alles was on the list.
Daarom wil ze graag terug naar de...
Nee, alles was op de Egyptian list. The Egyptian list. Pharaoh's list.
Kom, we gaan door de fable.
But
Alles, what was the...
I think that a couple of products which they have been eating were mentioned in Torah.
What?
A couple of products which they will be eating were mentioned in Torah
The man was only later.
in Egypt.
What they eat in Egypt? I don't know. It doesn't say what they ate in Egypt. Pharaoh ate up the Yiddish kinderen. That's what I know.
but this
The Yiddish kinderen were kosher.
what? Finish your.
Oh, okay. So according to, I think, I don't know, most opinions and some opinions, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Klal Yisrael now became the nation that accepted the Torah, they received the Sheva Mitzvahs opnieuw.
Yes.
Mitam
I
Klal
told you.
Yisrael.
I told you.
So that means that even though they had the mitzvah before they came to Matan Torah, but because now they accepted the Torah as Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it anew to Klal Yisrael with the Sheva Mitzvah Bnei Noach, with the 7 mitzvahs. But the Goyim didn't have to accept it anew because the Goyim already had Sheva Mitzvahs even before. The frage is, if a Goy doesn't keep Sheva Mitzvah Bnei Noach, does he have a oynish? I mean, what's nafka mina? They don't know about it anyway. But does he have only the Isser not to do it, or does he have the Isser mit and straf? The frage is, what is straf? Okay, I want to finish up time. We have a lot more to learn. Maar, question is, next week we can gaan door met deze, of we can...
Veel holidays.
Oké, scheur iedereen?
Volgende week is
Oh, yes.
Jawel. Oh ja, woensdag wel. Maandag.
Maandag niet.
Nee.